and to maintain a proficiency in the fire service. I will never allow my personal feelings, nor danger to self, to deter me from my responsibilities as a fire recruit. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith and trust, and I accept, so long as I am true to the ethics of the fire service, I will constantly strive to achieve the objectives and ideals that the fire service instills, dedicating myself to the saving of life, preventing and suppressing fires, and performing other duties enacted and placed upon me. As a member of the Cincinnati Fire Department, as fire recruit, I accept this self-imposed and self-enforced obligation as my responsibility to make those promises so solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Joseph Arnold, Fire Lieutenant, been on for 32 years. You have to kind of set the tone early on because it is a paramilitary organization. A lot of people coming off the streets have no idea what that means. So the rank structure we have from the firefighter liaison with Rich Frazier all the way up to the captain and the district chief and the assistant chief. We try to set that tone early. Try to set the discipline early because we have to have discipline in our rank. If someone tells you to do something, you have to do it. On the fire ground, you cannot question a decision. And that's the difference between life and death sometimes. So we try to set that tone right away so they understand that, hey, this is serious. The company structure that we have, we set them up so everybody has company officers. The same way we do out on the fire ground, where now you have a person reporting to the captain or me or somebody else to get an assignment, not 5 or 10 or in this case 40. So we try to get that rank structure set up pretty early on to try to get their feet wet and try to get them accustomed to it, so it really kind of flows well.
Has integrity. Did she say no jeans?
Yes, sir.
Who here is wearing jeans? And I don't care if they're black, blue, white, one. Just one? Attention to detail. Not having attention to detail will get you killed in this job. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Stop! Where's 30? Where's 30? And guess what? You're a team. When one of you f***s up, all of you f***s up. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
We have a tradition here. See that tower? When you f*** up, guess what you do? You're going to run that tower. So one of your classmates is not here. So does that mean he suffers or everybody suffers?
Everybody suffers.
First row, 1 to 7, go!
Melissa Arnold. I am the Training Bureau Fire Captain, and it will be 23 years in January.
I am Craig Coburn. I am a district chief, past district chief of the Training Bureau. I will be venturing off to District 3 here shortly. And Melissa and I were classmates, so yeah, almost 23 years here in Cincinnati. Number one, the part of it, of like that sort of stuff, is they're going to be PT either way. So we can kind of use it as like a double thing. Like, okay, you didn't follow direction, so and you're going to run the tower, So, but more so like attention to detail. We want them to. It all goes back to that crawl, walk, run. They don't know how to size up buildings. They don't know a lot of the stuff that experience will bring them. But one of the things that they do need to learn how to do is attention to detail. So when they do start getting experience, they'll be able to lock that back in their mind of noticing the details, committing it to memory, and using that as part of their experience to make decisions in the future. So even as something is minimal or stupid or whatever the issue is, number one, we want them to, again, pay attention to the detail. And then number two, they were going to be PT'd either way. They were going to run that tower one way or the other. So we're just going to use this as the example to make them run the tower.
And a lot of that, what you see out there is just, we're going to ask them to do things that aren't natural acts. I mean, firefighters do things that are not what a typical person does. I mean, your instinct as a regular person is just to leave when there's a a sign of danger, but we're going to ask them to go handle that. So you sort of have to build up your own confidence in yourself. Like you look at something, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then we push them, then we push them, and we push them. And then they succeed. Well, now they know it's not for us. It's not for our benefit, so that, you know, we know that they can do it. I mean, obviously, in the end, we have to sign off on them being able to do things. But some of those moments are just for them to be able to learn that they can rise above something that's challenging or uncomfortable or something they might not necessarily really want to do. And then they realize, you know, they can do it. And that's when you start to build, you know, a good firefighter.
Push, there you go. Push it. There you go, push it. Come on, big man. Come on, baby. Rotate!
My name is Adrian Burton. My title is the Training Bureau FAL. So I'm the driver of training. I have 22 years January. So your dad's classmate. To be honest, I really wasn't ready to come down to 40 hours. I really like being on 48 hours. I'm working at the firehouse. I miss it. But the opportunity came up. There's only one driver in training. And I figured if I didn't take it, that I was going to miss out on it. I feel like I'm giving back to the fire department by developing these kids, by helping to develop these recruits from off the street to being official firefighters. Like seeing that evolution from knowing nothing to, you know, trusting these guys to be able to go into a burning building that's kind of special. So. Like when I'm at the firehouse, you know, your job is rewarding because you are, you know, you're going out, you're helping people, and you're affecting a change in somebody's life. Well, you're affecting a change in somebody's life here in training, you know, just in a different way. First impressions?
Yeah.
First impression was that none of them would make it, that they were all going to quit. That was my first impression, that they weren't cut out for this job.
My name is Yamasi. I am a firefighter and paramedic for Cincinnati Fire Department. I usually work at Engine 49 on Unit 2, but currently I'm detailed as part of the training staff for Recruit Class 118. Yeah, so essentially it's kind of like setting up a foundation for them to learn the most basic skills that they'll use the most, and teaching them in a very deliberate way, having them repeat it dozens and dozens of times before they actually have to put it into practice. So when they're crawling, they're just learning skills, going through motions, doing activities to build up to walking, where they have to incorporate those activities on a fire scene or a rescue scene where they've been given the total outline of what they need to do. And then the running phase is they are given a general idea of what to expect, but they don't know any of the details, and they have to use their training and put it together and, you know, come together as a fire company to deal with all the different monkey wrenches that are being thrown their way on a fire scene, and how things can go wrong and how things can change, and how you set a plan, you create a plan based on like your dispatch and what you hear on the radio, and then you get on scene and you have to adjust to changing conditions. So getting from walk to run is always the most difficult part.
I think it was really a reteach thing. It's like, you know, just a practice. You know, even some of the more advanced skills, like once you show it, you're not really reteaching. You're teaching every day. So we go out and say, hey, our station today is going to be throwing ladders, forcing doors, you know, and saws. Those are basic skills, and we're going to do them until you can't do them wrong, you know. Yeah, so we're going to do them enough to where you can do them in your sleep. So it's not really reteaching, it's just kind of reinforcing.
We have an awesome city. Like, it's such a cool viewpoint because you only see it from the ground up, and you see like all the details, you see all everything, but then when you look at it and you realize like this is your whole area that trusts you and has put faith in you, it's an awesome feeling being up there and being like, this is my area and we're gonna all help each other. This is gonna be our area to protect, and this is gonna be our duty to the people and duty to the community, really. So it was awesome. Very eye-opening, very cool.
Yeah, I just started working out more and started looking up YouTube videos of the 100-foot aerial ladder because I knew that was coming. And
did you know it was coming so fast?
no, I didn't know it was gonna be the first week. And it was the weekend before Father's Day. So like going the whole week, I'm like, Friday will let me know if I have a good Father's Day or not. I will either still be in the program or not. And I had a great Father's Day because I did it.
No, I loved it. I don't know what it is about height. The climb was amazing. Yeah. And when you keep climbing that aerial, depending on how they have it laid out, it can be like a marathon sometimes. You know, you're tired, but I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh man, I mean, I feel like your first time you're either nervous or you're lying. It's really high up. And people say just pay attention to the rungs, don't look down, but you're going to look down. At some point, you're going to notice that there's nothing else anywhere around you, and all there is everything down below you. So he had us lean back and just like let everything off of the ladder after we clip in with our carabiner, just like let go. And what he was trying to say there is, you know, this station, as much about the skill, is about letting go of your fears. And he talked about how this is not the scariest thing that we'll do. So you look over your shoulder, you pulled up some letters. It's like, what does that spell?
Oh, wow.
Quit? Are you gonna quit?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I'm just living a dream. A little house of fun.
The lights or wires is just to get them used to being in a situation where they're entangled. And again, using the techniques that they were taught instead of trying to just always force everything and bulldog it and just say, oh, this is the only way I do it, so I'm doing it this way, even though the circumstances have changed and what I'm doing isn't working. So we do things like that so if they are in a place where they do get entangled, they don't freak out, they don't panic, and they know how to either keep themselves protected or get themselves out of it. And the blindfolding is, again, just to get them used to being in low visibility and not having one of your senses completely. Because when you're in a fire or when you're searching a room at night, the electricity may be off. There's all kinds of things that could limit or completely block your vision. So it's them getting used to feeling things correctly, identifying things by feel through those really thick gloves, and being able to execute some techniques like, you know, saving a down firefighter, going through the rat bag blind, putting it on them, getting them out, things like that. It's just to solidify their technique so they don't always rely on their sight because it's not always available. You really can't see when it's smoky. You can't see anything, so.
That's really cool. Yeah, like you said, they will put you in places that fit you, but they want you to be confident in what, you know, you may not think could fit you. You know, me being a smaller person, doing something that a bigger person can do. And they will get you to the point where you can do it. And then after that, they will make sure that you are the best at what you do in the size that you are. So, size that you're at, yeah.
Good, that's good.
It's an interesting point that, I mean, we kind of expected. I mean, I had been here before, so I kind of expected it. But in the beginning, when we would put them in their gear and put them, I don't think you guys were even on air at the beginning, when we'd send them out there through the rat house and through a maze. And then there was a couple very narrow spots. And for the bigger guys, it was particularly challenging. And we actually had one that, I mean, I almost think he almost quit that day because he didn't think he could fit through it. So I think both of us were there that day, and we just had to keep saying to him, you're going to fit. You just got to figure out how to maneuver and get the right technique. And then once he got it, and it took, a pretty long time. But then every time since, it was almost like going around, go back through, going around, go back through, and it was fine. So that is a good one to pick.
Yeah, something like that you really can't teach. You know,
Right.
You can make them more confident in like the blacked out claustrophobic type settings, but really that's something that's very hard to change with somebody. Some people are just naturally they're fine doing it, and other people, you know, they kind of flip out or until they get used to or comfortable working in that environment. So
I have to come all the way around so that my right hand's on the wall. I'm maintaining contact with my right hand on the wall, and I'm searching out here. And this seems real simple when we're doing it out here, but when we're in a house that we've never been in and it's pitch black full of smoke, it gets confusing very easy. That's why we do something that's totally straightforward, with just keeping my right hand glued to the right wall. I hit this wall, which way do I turn? Left. Left, because and I come in here doing a right-hand search. I'm staying on the wall. Where's Hurlbert going to be? He's going to push out. Now, keep pushing. Let me push out. Push out. Are we covering this whole room? Yes. So right hand, I'm the wall guy. I have to stay glued to the wall. He can push in and out, cover more ground. What are the three ways that we stay in contact?
There you can see
verbal, physical, and visual.
You can see what he's doing. So while you're waiting, you can search behind there. Right. And then just be ready. Your hand on the right thing. Then when he gets back around you, he's going to give you what he found or all clear or whatever happens in this scenario. Find anything, and then you can move.
So my dad said that drill school is a magnifying glass. It can't turn you into anything, but it magnifies everything. So like if you are uncertain about this job and you don't really want this job, like it's going to magnify that. Like you're not going to give 100% effort. Like they're going to be able to tell. But like if you want it and you really have that drive, it magnifies that as well. So like it'll magnify the morals and the discipline and the basis that you have, but it's not going to make you into anything. They can't make you into a good person. They can't make you a hard worker. They can't make you those things. But what they can do is refine the things that you already have. So if you don't want it, like don't worry about it. Like that's okay. Like if you don't want to go through drill school, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But like that will be magnified. Like you're not going to be able to go through, and I mean you've seen it. Like you can't squeeze through this place. There's no way. So
It's not a fake it till you make it.
You can't fake any of this. Like there's no way you can fake anything. So I mean, if you want it, they'll be able to see that, and they see heart and they see effort, and they work with heart and effort. They can't work with a lazy person. So, good old magnifying glass.
Is what the ignition sequence is. We talked about it today. Starting with what? Competent ignition source. Then it needs to be exposed to what? A competent. And we have to have the.
There we go. Curtains on.
All right. So we've got ignition now.
Good.
All right.
You ready for the man line?
Not yet. I mean, I think we can let it. Once the couch starts getting involved, and have them swing around. I'd like them to see this. So now we are in the incipient stage of the fire, right? What's our next stage that we're going to advance to? Growth stage, right?
1 minute since it caught.
1 minute. How many minutes?
So now you've got smoke detectors going off.
3 minutes since
Does it look? Do you see any smoke going on in there?
Look how clear that room is, and the smoke detector's already going off. You have plenty of time to get out of the structure.
That's how important they are. So that's why we try to put smoke detectors. Now they've just lit the couch on fire. The bottom of the couch is burning. The corner.
2 minutes, 30 seconds since it caught.
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Once we introduce a hose stream in to put this fire out.
Flame retardant curtains.
Are they?
That's what Kristen said. Flame retardant curtains.
So the curtains have pretty much gone out, and it's the couch that's burning now. You can kind of see a little bit of the flame lick over the corner of the couch. Look at the color of the smoke coming out now. It's up to the ceiling and rolling out underneath the little header plate.
We're 4 minutes in.
See what I'm talking about? The smoke rolling here. Been sitting outside for a while, so it might be full of water too.
5 minutes.
Now, watch the ceiling and watch what's going to start happening in the gas layer at the ceiling.
You squat down, you can see what he's talking about already. You see almost a perfect line of smoke, a flat roof, ceiling, whatever you call it, of smoke. And what is the smoke? Somebody was listening.
Incomplete combustion, right? So this might be kind of around the time that we've gotten to the scene, we're laying off, connecting to a hydrant. Officer rolls up and says, engine 12's on the scene. We got heavy smoke coming from a 1A occupied structure.
Seven minutes.
Can you feel the heat? So what's burning up top?
All right, we want to watch out, let these engine guys get ready to go to work.
Right? Because smoke is burning. Did you see all the artwork, the phone, everything that's at that level lit up?
Now, I want you to start paying attention to the carpet. Look at the guy here, he's off gas.
Our fireman.
Watch what carpet and look at those fire clothes.
The fire gear off gas.
Who remembers that word I taught you about when solids turn into a gas? Pyrolysis. That's what's happening. That's what's happening on that carpet. So now,
What's that guy doing?
this is flashover.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You did exactly what I told him not to do.
So a flashover is just when everything in the room ignites at once, and it takes a little bit of time. So the fires obviously start small, then they grow because they catch more things on fire. Then that heat radiates out, and then everything. So long story short, a lot of things are made out of synthetic materials these days. So basically, when they burn hotter and they burn faster. So it spreads faster. So basically, if there was a fire in this room, it's just a fire, but if this whole room became involved because everything got heated up to its temperature, then all the tables and chairs in here almost ignite spontaneously or all at once, and the whole room gets engulfed. So even in a building, so there can be a flashover in this room, but the hallway's not considered a flashover, or the next room's not a flashover. It's just a stage of the fire where everything gets super heated, super hot, and it just spontaneously ignites.
So we could put them in the simulator and demonstrate what that looks like safely. I mean, obviously we can't light up a room and have everybody sit in the room that's about to flash over. But in the simulator, since where they sits lower than where the fire's at, they can watch the whole process of how the fire develops and see it go over their head, so that when they actually experience those conditions in real life, they'll know that they have to take some action before it gets to the point where it's now too late.
Yeah, that's what they did.
The fire's in this room. That's our door. We're pretending that we're making entry, or we're actually making entry too. And behind you guys, see that opening? We're calling that a window. All right. So we're going to have a firefighter on the door back there, controlling it, open and closed, and a firefighter on this window, open and closed. Lieutenant Kuchar will be explaining to you about fire behavior and stuff, and he'll say, you'll hear him yell down the hallway or get on the radio and say, open the door. Why is he opening the door? Let air in, all right? So we're going to see bad stuff coming out up here, flames and heat and fire gases, and you will visibly see fresh, clean air getting sucked in at the bottom. You'll see that this fire grows bigger and faster when that door's open down there. It grows even bigger and even faster when that door's open and that window's open. All right?
Where do we expect the fire to go from here?
Towards the ventilation.
Yeah, towards these ventilation openings. It has to, guys. It has to every time. So we just start to anticipate some of that stuff. When you're in here, look down low, look up, you know it, we're gonna be on our hands and knees, and look up in the ceiling level, right? When the fire's first going on, when we first light it, stand up. Feel the difference that it's hotter up here than it is down here. This is the time where you can play around with that stuff, okay? If you feel like there's anything wrong at all, you're gonna have an instructor right behind you at that window. You're gonna have Lieutenant Kuchar right here talking to you, and you're gonna have Instructor Bartlett right here on this hose line. All right, if there's any trouble at all, there's an escape door back that way with Instructor Bartlett, and there's the door we came in back there.
Look at the fire and the straw down at the floor level. You see how it's getting sucked towards the fire? Pass devices, guys. Pass devices.
Like I was like just sitting down looking at it like, oh shit. And the T, when fire behavior was fun for me, I like watching it. It was cool to see the fire. But the flashover simulator was hot. And I'm like, with the gear on, I felt like I was burning. That's how hot it was. But I wasn't really nervous. I wasn't nervous by the time it came to stuff like the fires because of the aerial ladder and the SCBA shit. That really taught me a lot about fear. Like, so now, like the other day we did commercial burns and we had to search in the fire room. And I like kind of like just stopped and looked at the fire like, oh shit, this is cool. Like, so now it's exciting. Now it's exciting to go into the fire. At first I'm like, it's hot, I don't know what I'm doing. I could mess up, but now I got a grasp on it and it's like, okay, there's fire in here. Let's go put it out. Let's go put it out. Well, I don't put the fire, well, I'd rather search the fire room than put the water on it. Because then after you put the water on it, you can't see anymore. You can't really see it all anymore. I don't know. First fire was fun. It was hot, but it was fun. I was nervous. I wasn't afraid, but I was nervous.
State of Ohio, the mandate, it's basically 5 to 1. We try to do less than that. We try to do 3 or 4 to 1. So there'll be a certified live fire instructor with them at all times. In this building, there's an interior safety officer. So whenever there's a fire on a floor, there's also another set of eyes in addition to the ignition officer and a safety line officer to watch out for all those things. And we're pretty good at if something bad happens, we've got the code word broken arrow. If someone says broken arrow, the fire immediately gets puts out, all the windows get opened up, everybody gets evacuated from the building to find out what's going on. So everybody kind of gets their role. But yeah, we take safety pretty serious. There's always safety officers both on the interior and the exterior.
It's hard to compare like my training class to this training class just because the structure of training was so different. They definitely do a lot more and get a lot more hands-on time than we were able to get. But I'm sure it's easy to just go to the recruits suck, they're terrible, they need to do better. And that's the way to keep them motivated is to tell them they always need to do better.
Yemisi, is that you? Yeah. Hey, it is you. Hey, how's it going?
Larry Bybeck, man.
28, Kiana.
James Turner Sr., and I'm 30 years old.
There you go.
My name is Carly Wester. I'm 21 years old.
It's pretty big. It's a pretty big difference now. For us, it was just the one burn building, the one that you saw that got torn down. That's where we trained. The fires were a little bit smaller, and now there's just so many more things that we can do. We can make bigger fires. A little bit more complicated in getting to them for the class, whereas we went in the door and out we went. The mazes and the tees and all those kinds of things we didn't have back when we went through drill school. So there's a lot more available to give better training now than what we had available to us.
Okay. Let's go, let's go.
It's really, drill school's a mind game. Like, yeah, that's the thing that I remember the most, is just like never knowing if I was doing the right thing, but being told that I just need to make a decision anyway. And if it's wrong, it's wrong, but you just make a decision. And just like being so tired and so uncomfortable, but not wanting anybody to see that I was tired or uncomfortable or nervous, just like pretending that I knew what I was doing. Those are like the most memories I have. But again, they do a lot more. They have a lot more resources, a lot more training, a lot more access to instruction. But the mind game part and the just being completely worn down and exhausted part is what I have the biggest memories of, I guess. I wouldn't say fond, but those are what I remember most.
We all have bad days. Sometimes I don't feel like I have the energy to do what needs to be done, but I give it my best effort every day, and I always want to be better. You know, as president, I've had my frustrations, and at times I've blamed other people for that, but at the end of the day, I'm of the opinion that if things aren't going well, then there are things that I can change and things I can't. So I try to focus on what I can do better. That's been my biggest obstacle, is fighting with myself.
So either shoulder and your backup shoulders, or you shoulder and you take fingers and it's just one man.
Okay.
Your backup is just following.
I was out for around a month, and then they were like, yeah, you need to get back. We got to start teaching you stuff. Because, I mean, it's so hard because it's such a physical drill school, but, like, you can't get hurt because, I mean, you can, but, like, it's very, very difficult to get hurt because they just pack so much in. Like, we've got so much to learn in a little amount of time that if you're hurt or something, like, it's very difficult. And you can only watch. This isn't a watching type of school. Like, you need to be doing it. Like, I watched a bunch of things, and then when I'd go to try to do it, like, it'd be a completely different experience. So that was kind of hard, like, coming back and, like, having to do everything that I watched because you're, like, annoyed because you're like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but trying to apply it when I haven't learned it the same time everybody else has, and then you feel behind. And so it was just like a whole, mentally and physically, it was a whole pile up of stuff. Because especially if you feel behind in this school, it's like the worst.
UL did a big study about 8-10 years ago, and they found that if there's fire on the first floor and you take out a second floor window, you got between 60 and 90 seconds before fire is in that second floor window. So like I said, nobody's over the stopwatch, but if you start adding up the time of what it takes you guys to do things, you're getting real close to that, all right? Between, if you break that window out with the ladder, then you got to start masking up. You wait for your buddy, you climb up, you got to clear the rest of that glass out, you get in, you find a door, you're pushing 60 seconds. So like he was saying, everything's done with purpose. So I judge what I'm going to do based on who I'm with and how far along they are with me. If it's me alone and I'm waiting on my driver to get dressed, I'm going to set the ladder up and I'm going to get it in place, I'm going to climb it, and he's going to be the guy buttoning it for me, all right?
This class was very hard to get going, meaning things that would normally motivate recruits didn't seem to motivate this class. At the beginning, there seemed like there were some recruits that didn't want to really fall in line with what we were doing, and I think at the end of it, what it really did is it caused the rest of the group to kind of close ranks and come together. So that was a positive. But I think one thing they struggled with at the beginning was just, I think, the physical aspect of the job they struggled with. And they caught on pretty quickly, but it was tough at the beginning. So that was probably the biggest thing for me, was the physical aspect of it.
Class 118, I mean, we started off rough. They really did. It was more like, instead of crawl, walk, run, it was crawl, stumble, go back 3 or 4 steps, crawl again, fall down on your ass. Does the first guy have to flip? No. Do whatever the hell they want. If you want to practice your flip, practice your flip. Can you be the first guy? So it takes 4, right? 2 firefighter deployment. Flip, don't really care. Totally up to you. As soon as they step off, stop! Oh, you gonna be 2? Second guy, 4, gotta flip, right? And see how the first guy's bunching up, because we don't want you to trip in between. Let's go, right? Stop. There's a bed. We're walking.
Right there.
We're walking.
I honestly didn't think I would. Not that I wouldn't make it this far, but I don't know, this is like really big, and it's probably the biggest thing that ever happened to me in my life. So I'm like, something. So I expected it to be very hard, but I didn't think it would be this well ran. It's actually a really well ran program. I knew it was going to be hard, and it was definitely hard, but other than that, I didn't have any expectations. I thought we would run more. I'm glad we just had our last run.
That's why, even as a backup person, always be listening.
Ready? We're doing the
But still, there is a lot of operating in zero visibility. There is always potential for operating. When you're in zero visibility and you're in somebody's house, it truly does feel like you're in a confined space. Even a hallway, a 3-foot wide hallway, feels like a confined space at that point. And you're crawling, and there's furniture, and there's beds and tables and people's stuff in their house. But in the event that there could be a collapse, or there could be, and I will say in some of the older houses in Cincinnati, like some of the stairways are very narrow, or there's like some small rooms. But again, that's more of just getting them used to working in zero visibility in their gear, more of like a confidence or type thing for them.
So this is simulating you need to get out of the building, you're stuck, it's a confined space, right? You still need to use those proper techniques, sweeping high and low, going wide up and down steps, feeling out in front of you, right? You need to do all of those things in here, otherwise you're gonna die. We've already had 4 people die today, right? So we've taught you all the proper techniques as far as like going down steps, climbing through holes, climbing over holes, climbing out windows, going down ramps, getting out of wires. We've taught you all that. You need to put it together when you're in here. So use the proper technique and you will be fine. Above there's like a ladder you can climb up. There's hallways there. So we can see them in through these little holes, like which way they're going. And there's like a few of these cutouts. But when they're doing the right-hand search, they come through here. Mm-hmm. And then they have to go down this ramp and then go out that way. But some people get to there and they climb up right there, where that light is. Mm-hmm. It's really up. There's dead ends and all kinds of cool stuff. If you don't, you're gonna do this whole trailer. There's 3 stories in this trailer with varying degrees of confined spaceness and dead ends and openness. So this is the easiest route you're gonna go through.
It should not take you more than 3 minutes. It is so easy. But there are some people that took 10, 12, 15 minutes. Some of them went the right way too. They just did not trust themselves and they did not trust your left. You were doing a left-hand search. If you
Everybody say left hand. Left hand.
if you say, I'm stuck, I have nowhere to go, I can't get out, you are lying, because we made it so that you can get out if you do your left-hand search. Does everybody understand that? So you had to go up those stairs, come down these. So like this, we can move this board and drop this down so that they go straight across and they're on an upper level.
Oh wow. So this is like
it's adjustable and movable.
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah. And then they had to traverse this hole in the floor. Oh. And then come down here. So they could go, that's for the right-hand search. They can go that way, but they didn't do that today. So you have to go, they have to go down this hallway. And then come through this hole. Oh, and then
Where's that?
through there.
No, sir. Got people depending on you, man. Get out here. Yes, sir.
All right, so make sure you're ready to fight. Critical fails for tomorrow. What? Once I stretch my line, I call for water. I transition out. What's the next phase? Bleed the line. Yeah. If you do not bleed the line, that is a critical fail. And we're talking about bleeding the line. It's doing what?
Making sure it works.
Right? I'm making sure it's not here. All the way right. Shut it down, and then we're ready to go. We're talking 2 to 3 to 4 seconds. Make sure you got a good screen.
Over. So there's a long center hallway. There'll be some impediments to your travel, which then means what? And conversely. Right, there's impediments to egress, right? Now on the way out, you got a victim, right? So we're not going to be talking on the radio. I just want you to vocalize what you would say when you found the victim, you know, your company, what you got, where you're going, that kind of stuff. So you're gonna work together to work them out, right? So one thing you got to remember, what are we going to look for? Starts with a V. Victim, right? So does a victim have fire gear? No. Does the victim have a mask? No. So all the things that protect you and allow you to have a conversation or just talk back and forth, work through problems, they don't got it. So what they really don't have is time, right? Time is of the essence. So you need to. What I always tell people, forget about the minutia, all the little rows. Your hand in the right place, just figure it out as fast as you can and get that person out, right?
No face me.
That's first.
I would say, so throughout my career, making just different runs that I've made, different experiences we've had at fires, at EMS runs, and dealing with people. Those are the types of things that I'll try to mainly, the techniques, of course, the techniques that we learned and throughout the years we've tweaked and kind of improved on. We'll teach those and transfer those over to the kids, but when I say kids, to the recruits. But a lot of it is how to deal with people and how to deal how to be a good firefighter at the firehouse. So, you know, teaching the recruits how to respond to adversity, how to deal with people that you may not actually like, but you have to work with. Those are other things outside of the actual fire training that you have to teach them. You know, people skills, how to deal with people, how to deal with unruly patients. You know, those are the things that we teach them, and we try to get them to understand. They may not understand at first that we're not just being hard on them for no reason. That everything we do for a reason, and there's a purpose behind it. So when if we give them something and then they get in trouble about it, and then they're wondering like, well, why did we get in trouble? Later on, they can think like, oh, they wanted us to see that. They wanted us to understand that this is what could happen, or this is what you might see. So I would say, without being specific about events or whatever, I would just say throughout my career, I've had to deal with adversity. I've had to deal with a bunch of different situations that all kind of culminate to, you know, what you teach the recruits when they come through.
Yeah, see this? Right? Get that flat. Right? I want you sitting on that hose, because if my foot is up, is that hose gonna slide? Yeah. You gotta sit back, right? Get back. And as part of that front leg flattening out, now his weight's going back, now flow.
It was definitely the most unique thing that we'll probably ever go through as like a father-daughter relationship. Like there's him teaching me to drive and screaming at me when we're driving when I'm 16, and then there's like father-daughter dances and different stuff like that. But like I think the first time when I kind of went too far into the fire room and he just kind of saw me like disappear, and I gave all the instructors like heart attacks. I think when he went in and we were just kind of like sitting in the fire room together and he's just like looking at me, it was just a very like surreal moment. And it was just like, I don't know. We've always gotten along very, very well, but it's just opened up a new level to a relationship that I didn't even think was possible, because like me and my mom, like you talk about girly stuff, you talk about like growing up and boyfriends and this and that. And like I always did talk about that with my dad, because he's we've always had a very open relationship. But like this is just a different level, you know, like we have like these jokes that we can tell now with each other, or like we'll go home and like have dinner after we've worked together that day and been like, can you believe this happened and this happened? And it's just like, it's a really cool new branch for not only like my new adult life with a relationship, but like just a whole new career that like happens to be the same career he has. So, you know, it's very cool. I really like, or when like people are like, oh, I was in class with your dad, you know, or like different stuff like that. It's been a very, very neat, unique experience.
Truck on the right! Truck on the right! Truck on the right!
On the other side of fear is great things. That was being afraid of stuff. It's just you imagining stuff happening that hasn't even happened yet.
Now we're walking, follow me. There's carpet's ripped up, so be careful. Carpet ripped up.
Right arm in front of you. Open the door and walk. Come here.
Your door, hang it right. Come straight. We're gonna hit a wall. Good. Keep coming. Another door. Good. Keep
Yeah, so they've been doing it for the last few classes, and basically they've set up a scenario where we disorient the recruits. We take them in groups, walk them through a building, take them up and down stairs, turn them in circles, mix them up, jumble them up, and then we put them in a big giant room. We block off all the exits but one. They're completely blindfolded. They can't see anything. We have them set off their personal alarm systems, which is very loud, and then we tell them to find their company mates and get out. So they have to be in a situation where they don't know what's going on, they don't know what to expect, and they have to rely on their training. Some people do it better than others, as sure as you saw, but it's pretty much mass chaos every time, and every class has trouble with it. And most people die, theoretically. They either run out of air or they do something incredibly dangerous or they lift their hood up because they're frustrated and they're panicking because they can't see. So most people die.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
All right, everybody jump.
I got it. Okay, now we're in business.
Set off your pass device, find your company, and get out. Now!
Oh my goodness. They put you in that room and you don't know where you are because from being outside to going in, you're blindfolded and you're trusting others in front of you to get you into the room, into the building, into the room. My experience with that is it's a great experience. It shows you the amount of chaos that can take place and how to stay calm in order to get through it all. So I was really blessed to be able to go through that because not everyone on the CFD was able to have that experience.
It's so funny because I've heard the phrase common sense so much in drill school, but like growing up, we had a phrase like common sense isn't common sense until you know it, and then it's common sense. So the common sense that certain people were getting aggravated with in the mass chaos drill, like, is not the same common sense for everybody. So like for some people, it was like, obviously we need to turn off our passes. But for other people, they're like, they've told us step by step in drill school what to do. The instructors didn't say to turn the pass devices off. They just said to turn it on. We need to follow verbatim what they're saying and not question orders. So like that in itself just shows you like the many different thought processes that you're gonna have anywhere. But I think it was really, it was eye-opening, but more so it was a test of like, it was a test of your patience more so than anything. So like you had to, because there were people like freaking out and like screaming and losing their mind. And then like I feel like the second time it was more, granted we didn't have many people make it out, but it was definitely more strategic the second time. So like, yeah, your company of 3 might have died, but like the one person got you to this point. Like in my company, like Buyback got us to a certain point, Drew got us to the next point, and then I made it out. So like it was like a building thing versus the first time we were just freaking out, like everybody was losing their marbles. So I think that was really important because we saw what happened when you don't have patience and you don't have good communication. And so I think that feeling that you have where you are so panicked, like where are my guys at, what's going on, we don't know where we are, we're running out of air, like those feelings,
like they felt very real in the moment. Like I don't think anybody was like, oh, this is a drill. Like it felt very, very real, and it felt very like crucial. So I think the pressure that the instructors put on the drill made it to where it was like it felt real, which made it good, because if we ever go into like a situation like that, we know those feelings. We can recognize like, okay, I'm starting to stress out. Let's close our eyes. Let's take a breath, and let's find our way out. So I think that was a very, God forbid if anything happens, but that was a very like big mind obstacle that will be very crucial to have. So I think it was stressful, but great.
It was fun. It was fun. It was frustrating. It was humbling. The first time, none of us got out. The second time, only a handful of us got out. I didn't make it out either time. I learned a lot both times. It's hard for me to say what I would have done different, except the second time we had a plan going in that all hinged on communication, and communication just broke down when we got in there. So if we were going to go in and do it again, I would just make sure that everybody's on the same page beforehand. Because there's some things you can't do anything about when you're actually in the midst of it. Some things you just need to prepare for.
Get in there, you get disoriented, what's the first thing that's going to happen? You're going to panic. You're going to start to lose your mind, and you're going to forget about all the training that these instructors have taught you. You cannot do that. You cannot panic.
How many of you went through that area we told you to keep your hands on the ground, down that hallway, found the inward swinging door, turned around the room, went back the other way? Keep going. I would say half.
It was more than half.
I would say half.
It is, and that's how it's set up, and it's also kind of to drive home the fact that this job is not like drill school is not firefighter summer camp. It's to prepare you to actually be willing to put yourself in dangerous situations to help somebody that's in an even more dangerous situation because they don't have our protective gear or our training, and using, again, methods and techniques that we've taught them because they work, and to be safe and not get themselves killed for a silly reason, for something that could have been avoided. So.
Honestly, Denver. They call it the Denver drill for a reason. And basically it's just being able to save your fellow firefighter when they're down. So it's a struggle because they have extra weight on them with the packs and getting the cinch down on their packs so that it's tighter on your arm so it's not loose. just every technique about getting a down firefighter out. Yeah, it's great to have, and it makes you better for it. But when you go into it, it's like, how am I going to get this weight up? But they get you through it.
Rapid assistance training. It's been a pretty big focus for us because in our system, when a firefighter go down inside of a burning building, that's when you have to go in and save your own. So there's lots of facets to the rat training. It's almost like the third wheel where you do engine, truck, and the rat stuff. And we've had a whole bunch of different rat scenarios to try to prepare them for anything and everything. Because right now in our system, there are 6 firefighters assigned on the fire ground to a rat company. But statistics have shown, generally speaking, if a firefighter goes down inside of a burning building, it's those closest to them that execute the rescue. So everybody has to be prepared to drag them out. And there's so many variables involved between the spins and the drags and the carries and the Denver drill and the Coglanese and the Nance. And there's so many facets. You could spend 22 weeks doing just that. But all the different scenarios we've been blessed to incorporate in this class between the old hi-fi and the boxes here and the T and the survival drills. Again, we try to expose them to all the different variables that they may experience in a career, and then just pray they never have to use it, because that's a bad day. When a Mayday goes out, when you have to run in to rescue one of your own, that's a bad day. And that's the biggest struggle, at least for us, is we've got to train them to be ready to face what they're going to face when they hit the streets. Fires in this building have got to be hot, because fires, when you go out on the streets, are going to be hot. We cannot have a campfire, for lack of a better term. We have to be able to prepare them to face the heat that they'll have to face on a regular basis. That's what's nice about our container props, because yes, we've got the high-intensity fire building, the hi-fi, but we also have the flashover, the single T, and a double T. In my opinion, Oscar should still be here.
And that's why you keep training. So 10 years down the road, things are still moving smooth and you're at the time. You're still using that training that we taught you to spend 21 weeks.
When you get out on companies, follow those seniors that are ahead of you. Learn from them. Ask them questions. That's where you're going to learn how to be a firefighter. The state right now says you can be a firefighter. Don't ever stop training. Always learn something new every day, and you'll survive. I never thought I was going to go through my career with an LODD. I've had 2. Both of them. I've had problems with my life because of it. And you might find yourself in that situation one time. And I'll tell you right now, I actually reached out for help and went to counseling. Don't ever be afraid.
I was never taught when I'm faced high heat to flow the line, because we never faced high heat in drill school. We didn't know what high heat was. These guys with their 30 live burns, they know what high heat is. So the struggle for us is to try to get their training environments over these 30 burns with a whole bunch of different scenarios, whether it be basement fires, hoarder fires, crossfire, come up short, flow and move. Try to get them somewhat prepared for what they're going to face out on the companies. And that's a challenge because that's life or death. If they don't know what hot is, if they don't know how to react to what hot is, people get hurt. And that's the challenge for us, at least in this environment, try to make those fires as hot and as realistic as possible, as safe as possible, but they have to feel the heat.
Get this shit out of the way. Command all pumping. Command all pumping.
You guys copy that? Evolution's over. Get out.
Commercial structure. That one was just like having everybody there and acting like it's a real, like going through everything and doing everything. I loved that. And I liked how each thing like was different, and it like kind of made the day go by fast because you were like looking for like, oh, I got this station next, or I got this one next, and you were like almost excited for the next rotation versus like we were so used to all-day stations and just being like, ah, this sucks, like this is horrible, like we just going through everything. So like doing all of that was like we were having a good time, and it was like fun, and we were like the fires that Bartlett and Marshall put off are unreal. So like we were just having a ball.
On screen, 3 stories.
This isn't like, it's not really a job. Like, you have a job, you go to work to pay your bills. It's like something that you gotta want to do, something that you gotta work really hard for. So coming in, you need to be in great shape. You need to be willing to learn. You gotta always want to continue to learn. And you gotta have tough skin, for sure, because they will cuss at you. So you gotta be able to take that. You gotta be able to lead, you gotta be able to follow. And you gotta be ready at all times, basically. Like, that's it. You gotta want to do it. Don't just join it because it's cool. Because you can, I forget, because you can die. You can die, so don't join it because it's cool.
If you don't learn something while you're teaching, then you're a bad teacher, because everybody has to take in new information and kind of change what they do based on new information that they're brought in. It's the whole, Mike Tyson quote, like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And it's, same with instructions. Like you always have the idea of the instructor that you want to be until you meet a student that seems like they can't learn anything at all and really challenges you. So yeah, I've absolutely learned. And I've honed a lot of my, it's good to be down here because it helps me solidify some knowledge that I have and already hone things that I already knew. Just the repetition and teaching somebody makes you learn more. So.
Everyone just gets together and can have a good time and can really just uplift one another. It's rarely ever occurred that anyone was on the outs with anyone. We're just a real tight-knit kind of community here now. I love it.
Last impressions was that they are a resilient class, that they that they have a lot of bounce back, which is good. They won't quit. So that's all we can ask them for is to never quit. And we preached that from day one, and they lived up to it. So they made it through, and at the end, I know 100% with 100% certainty that they wouldn't quit.
Because your heart's gonna be racing. If a rat run comes in, Mayday comes in while you're doing it, your heart's gonna be through the roof. So you gotta know everything nice and well.
All right, this is going to be a rack scenario. You guys have done a little of this in the past, right? Okay. There are 7 of you, okay? Who can answer me how many people are on a rack scenario? How many persons?
In one company, 6.
Where do they come from? So you have a rat company, correct? Which is the 3rd truck on a 1-alarm, correct? Where's the other 2 people come from? As of November 1st, this is going to change, or now compliments, okay? So things are going to change. But for today, we're going to do it like this, okay? We're going to have a couple down firemen. I'm not going to give you all the details, okay? But as a rat company, you are going to go down there and basically exercise an extrication of down victim or victims, okay?
So there was a quote that, I can't remember who it was, one of the captains that came and said it. And it's like a quote that's been tossed around a few times, and it was like, when someone calls 911, they expect like a brain surgeon, a doctor, everything. Just like they expect you to be able to solve all the world's problems. So just your learning never stops. Like keep learning, keep trying to get better, keep being the best that you can for your company, and just different stuff like that. And I think that really goes to show, because like all the people that are so respected and so like, oh, well, that's a great firefighter, you know, like they are the same people that are trying new skills even when they're older and nearing the end of their career, and just like trying different things and always learning and always doing something. So I think as a young recruit, that's huge, because then like people think that like learning just stops after drill school, and it's like, no, you've got to learn through your whole career and just keep learning and keep doing for the people around you. And so I think that's probably like the biggest, it's not even really advice, it's just a quote, but like that's like the biggest advice that I took from it.
Here we go, you ready?
Ready.
Hemorrhagic shock with or without suspected head injury. Any significant extremity or truncal wound, neck, chest, abdomen, pelvis, with or without obvious blood loss or hypertension, irrespective of the blood pressure. Don't look at me like that, dude. If the patient is coherent,
Always go with true.
and has a palpable pulse, the blood loss is likely stopped.
B.
Right? Hypotension is considered what number? Go.
Low.
Systolic blood pressure less than
90.
90.
Get used to being incredibly uncomfortable, like physically uncomfortable, and just like hot, sweaty, chafing, sore, achy, like just in pain all the time, and you still have to work, because that's what we do on the companies. When we're tired or sick or hurt or injured, we still have a job to do because we're the last line. Like, nobody is coming to save us except for ourselves. So get used to that. Get used to like working an hour longer than you want to work, doing that 1 more rep or 5 more reps. Just get used to being uncomfortable, wanting to stop, and going past your limits every time. Get used to being made like emotionally and mentally uncomfortable because you are being yelled at all the time. All of your mistakes are highlighted. All the things that you think are charming about yourself that really will get you in trouble when you're in the fire, and like on a fire company. Just being used to being uncomfortable, having your ego broken down, and being in pain and still working. So, but also do it, because on the other side of it, like, it's like, I wish that I would have come into this career sooner in my life. I absolutely love this job. I think that I was made for it. It is an amazing job, like, that I wish that everybody could do, but not everybody could do it. Like, if it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not easy, and not everybody can do it for mental reasons, physical reasons, emotional reasons, like all those challenges that you face every day. So, but do it, for sure, do it.
Personally, and the department has embraced it. We needed to train in the environment that we're going to work in. So, and that's why, you see some of the crazy fires going on. You see some of the, the stuff that we do, and you're thinking, my Lord, why are they doing that? But it's because we do need to prepare our people to operate in that environment. So the night fires is one of those things we do. So, again, I don't have the stats, but I would say an overwhelming majority of our fires happen late night or early morning when it's dark out. And you have to be able to operate and function in that environment just as you would on a sunny afternoon. So.
Believe in me.
The first group that came in, they hadn't seen me, so they were like terrified. And then, there were people watching, and so they saw me. So once they saw me, I wasn't scared of anybody else. But the first group that came in, they were scared. And there was a couple people, and I didn't realize, there was a couple people that were like terrified of costumes in general. And I didn't know that until later. If I had known that, I would have focused on them a little more, but I didn't know until later, so. But it was fun. That was a fun night. But they would say, like, they were like, I could tell that they physically were shook, and then they were like, oh, crap. And then, they just kind of focus and keep going. But, and that's what they should do. If they can't get flustered to where they're like, they can't do their job. So they did fine. They got scared, but then they got over it, so.
I got it.
Coming into it, I knew what to expect. It's definitely intense, way more intense, and way more you have to work through. But I knew what I was getting into. I knew I was getting into darkness. I knew I was getting into fire. I knew I was getting into heights. So no, I didn't have to overcome fear. Maybe just believing in myself. And that's where the support came in. You don't know that you don't believe in yourself until you're put through a situation or you're challenged at that point to say you can or cannot.
Sorry, Megan. I spit on your coat.
I let somebody else go first just to be sure that they didn't drop them. But then after I saw that one go over just fine, I was ready to go. Like so many other things in drill school, it's like you just have to have faith that the instructors know what they're doing, and then you take care of your own part. So like when I was climbing it, I knew it would be stupid for me to look down the whole time. So I just looked straight ahead, climbed it like I would climb any other ladder, and got down.
Dude, that's too much. You went too much. Oh. All right, I'll go a little slower. Goodness gracious.
CFT's done to me. What CFT's done to me? Mama, mama, can't you see? Mama, mama, can't you see? What CFT's done to me? What CFT's done to me? Hey, 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 hey. What CFT's done to me? Mama, mama, can't you see? Mama, mama, can't you see? What CFT's done to me? What CFT's done to me? Hey, 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 hey. I wanna go. I wanna go. But Chief won't let me go. But Chief won't let me go.
Press 118, hold! Right, face!
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Begin!
believe it's almost over. It seems like it's going so slow, but now it's like it went fast as hell. That's crazy. It's crazy to say we're in week 20.
So that's a tradition that we've been doing for a while, and it's kind of symbolic of the, like, we do it towards the end of drill school, and it's kind of like to symbolize that at any given time you can get a fire in any building, and that's traditionally our tallest building that we can climb with the most flights, and it symbolizes that, you know, this is the end. You've accomplished something that you've accomplished a feat that a lot of people can't say they have, and we do it in full gear. We do it with tools, just like if we were going to a fire, and we climb all the way to the top. And I think it's very humbling for the recruits, because when they finally get up there and they realize, like, you know, at the beginning of class, there's no way they would have made that. They would have quit. But by the end, none of them would have quit. None of them would quit. None of them would let anybody with them quit. And I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest takeaway from that is, you know, you're almost there, and now you've accomplished. Just one more accomplishment that you can notch on your belt, and you can say you've done it and you finished this. So I think it's a good thing that we continue to do.
Battle three. Battle three. Good job. Good job.
I did it. Woo! 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 Yeah, that was rough. Woo! It was worse than I thought it would be.
Come here, brother. I got you.
I want to vomit. I'm out of shape, man.
Woo! I love this city. Yeah! I said one day! One day!
Oh, it's an interesting odyssey that you go through, you know, with people. Because in the beginning, it's just there's so much work, and you don't know them. You don't know, who they are and what they're going to be like, and then you kind of get to the end, and you're like, oh wow, I've kind of gotten used to doing this, and now they're all going out into the companies, and they're not going to be. It's not going to be our daily routine that we've kind of developed with each other. So you just sort of hope, I hope I gave them every opportunity to be successful in the next phase that they're going through.
Okay.
The center! Quick! March!
We chose as our class motto, one team, one fight. And in the 22 weeks that we spent in recruit class, we didn't just learn to run toward the fire. We learned to run toward conflict, especially with friends. The training staff and guest instructors have said a lot of things about our class, but my favorite is that we're the most unified class they've ever seen. And I firmly believe that what brought us together is how we handle confrontation and difference. It became both a joke and a tradition during our weekly class meetings that somebody would ask when we were going to talk about the elephant in the room. Sometimes it was a joke. Sometimes there was actually something that we needed to talk about. Our instructors often said Nothing gets better until we put the fire out. And it's the same thing with conflict amongst each other. We have to make a direct attack. But a willingness to enter into conflict with each other is not enough. Just like firefighting is more than just a willingness to run into burning buildings. You have to be able to do it right.
I will give a shout out to Frazier though. So I got put at a single engine house, so I'm being pushed around a lot to get my truck and everything done, and buying donuts just for the short amount of time that I've done it. I mean, I could see how you could go broke, but that guy does it every shift. Props to that he has any money in his bank account. That's a lot of donuts, man.
Like bringing that down, it might it might ruin your camera.
You think it's gonna be too high?
It's yeah, I think it might go first. First one might be good. Yeah, and then you'll have to put that camera out the window. Yep. As soon as you're done.
Is that okay? I don't want to mess you up or
Does
anything.
this whole thing come off?
Yeah.
We had one outdoor fire, but then we showed up and we were like walking around the bushes and it was just like super steam. But it was fun. I don't know, I just can't believe how fun it is. Like everyone's like, this is the best job ever. And then I get here and I'm like, damn, this is really the best job ever.
I'm.
Helmet involved. And put it on this guy?
He was my volunteer.
I miss my class. Yeah, it's weird being here without them. Like every day for Monday through Friday for 6 months straight, it was all 40 of the people that you learn to know and love and spend your days with, train with every day, and you're in your own little companies. But now we're all spread over the CFD.
He always was. That's where I got him. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. That's so
They are best of buddies.
And it's hot, very hot.